Welcome to the channel. If you're passionate about history and want to learn more about the complex stories that shape our world, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're aiming to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2024, and your support can make that happen. Now, let's dive into a powerful and often misunderstood topic, the history of Palestine. Palestine, a region in the Middle East, has a history that stretches back thousands of years, and its story is filled with cultural richness, political struggles, and profound transformations. To understand the history of Palestine, we must start by going way back thousands of years before the modern conflicts and headlines we see today. In ancient times, the land known as Palestine was inhabited by various groups. It was known as Canaan in the Bible and was home to the Canaanites, who lived in the area long before the Israelites, the Philistines, or any other groups of the region. By around 1000 BC, the Israelites established their first kingdom, and this marks the beginning of a long history of various peoples, empires, and rulers fighting for control of the land. Over centuries, the region became a crossroads for powerful empires like the Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, and Persians. Each empire left its mark on Palestine's culture, religion, and society. But one of the most important moments in Palestinian history came with the arrival of the Greeks and the Romans. Under the Greek ruler Alexander the Great and later the Romans, Palestine became a part of the Hellenistic and Roman empires. This was the period when Judea was established, and it marked a time of great conflict between different religious and political factions, setting the stage for future struggles. Fast forward to the 7th century AD, and we find the arrival of the Islamic caliphates. After the Byzantine Empire was overthrown, Palestine fell under Muslim rule, starting with the Rashidun Caliphate. The region became part of the greater Arab Empire, and over time, it became a center for Islamic culture, with cities like Jerusalem becoming revered religious sites for Muslims, Jews, and Christians alike. Under the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates, Palestine flourished in terms of culture, architecture, and trade. But no period of peace would last forever. In the 11th century, the Crusaders from Europe launched their series of religious wars against the Muslims and established the Crusader states, including the Kingdom of Jerusalem. This reign was brutal for the local population, both Muslim and Christian, who found themselves caught in the middle of the Crusader-Muslim conflict. It wasn't until the 12th century, under the leadership of figures like Salah ad-Din Saladin, that the region was recaptured by Muslims, marking the end of Crusader rule and a return to Muslim governance. In the following centuries, Palestine would be ruled by a succession of empires, including the Mamluks, and, most notably, the Ottoman Empire. From 1517 to 1917, Palestine was a part of the Ottoman Empire, and during this period, the region enjoyed a relative degree of stability. The Ottomans left a lasting influence on the culture, architecture, and infrastructure of Palestine, and cities like Jerusalem became important centers of trade and pilgrimage. However, as the 19th century progressed, the Ottoman Empire began to weaken. The rise of nationalism across Europe, the spread of European imperialism, and the growing tensions between various religious groups in Palestine led to shifts in the region. It was during this period that the Zionist movement emerged, with European Jews seeking a homeland in Palestine, where they believed they could establish a Jewish state. Tensions between the Jewish and Arab populations in Palestine began to rise, and this would lead to one of the most contentious and complex geopolitical struggles in modern history. In 1917, during World War I, the British captured Palestine from the Ottoman Empire, and the region came under British control under the Balfour Declaration, which promised the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine while respecting the rights of the existing Arab population. This was the beginning of a new chapter in Palestine's history, one filled with conflict, as the Arab population opposed the influx of Jewish settlers, and the stage was set for decades of violence and political turmoil. As the British mandate came to an end in 1948, the United Nations voted to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem as an international city. The Jewish leadership accepted this plan, but the Arab leadership rejected it, refusing to recognize the establishment of a Jewish state. On May 14, 1948, the State of Israel was declared, and immediately, several Arab states launched a military intervention to prevent its creation. The result was the First Arab-Israeli War, which ended in an Israeli victory and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, an event known as the Nakba, or catastrophe. Following the war, Israel expanded its borders, and the West Bank and Gaza Strip came under Jordanian and Egyptian control, respectively. Over the following decades, Palestinian nationalism grew, and in 1964, the Palestine Liberation Organization PLO was established as a political and military organization aimed at creating an independent Palestinian state. However, the quest for peace remained elusive, and the region was marked by wars, uprisings, and international diplomacy that has brought little resolution to the ongoing conflict. The 1967 Six-Day War further altered the map of the region, as Israel occupied the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem territories that Palestinians view as their future state. The occupation led to continuous unrest, with Palestinian resistance movements and frequent clashes with Israeli forces. In 1993, the Oslo Accords provided a glimmer of hope, establishing the Palestinian Authority and offering a framework for a two-state solution. But peace has remained out of reach, with continued violence, political divisions, and unresolved issues such as the status of Jerusalem and the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Today, Palestine is still divided. The West Bank is under partial Palestinian control but also remains heavily influenced by Israeli military presence and settlement expansion. Gaza is governed by Hamas, an Islamist militant group, and faces a dire humanitarian crisis, compounded by blockades and frequent conflicts with Israel. The Palestinian people continue to struggle for self-determination, sovereignty, and an end to the occupation. The history of Palestine is not just one of territorial disputes, it is a story of identity, culture, and resilience. It is a tale of people who have lived in this region for millennia, shaped by their religious beliefs, their histories, and their unwavering desire for peace and justice. Understanding this complex history is crucial to understanding the struggles of the modern-day Palestinian people and the broader Middle East. As we wrap up, remember that the history of Palestine is not a static story. It continues to evolve, and it's up to us to stay informed, engage in dialogue, and hope for a peaceful resolution. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of Palestine, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's hit 1,000 subscribers together before 2024 ends. Your support means everything. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.